Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have your hands. Some more. Let's get some more.
Hey, hello, and welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. I'm happy to have Mike here with us tonight. Morgan and Mitch are both going to be on the mend. We need them to get healthy. So, send them some love before the end of the holidays here. So, oh, sorry, I was reading too much of the chat there for a second.
I know, I was too.
I got distracted, so sorry about that, everybody. But thank you for stopping in tonight. We're going to go over a couple Christmas cocktails. Not going crazy. Everyone kind of had one that they looked up or found or kind of maybe tried. I tried mine a couple times. So it was a variant of something standard, but I enjoyed the variant and found it. I'll wait. I'll talk about it in a minute. I got too excited. Mike, before we go further, do you want to tell the lovely people watching about the Bar Cart Co-op?
Certainly. So we are proud members of the Bar Cart Co-op, which is a collection of friends that have content for the distilled spirits lovers. You are one of them. Please go to the Bar Cart Co-op YouTube or Facebook pages and see the blind tastings, distiller panels, discussions of special collaborations, and the usage of unique grains. The Bar Cart Co-op has educational and fun episodes for your enjoyment. And the oldest show in the group is Distillers Talk, hosted by Christy Atkinson and Alan Bishop. It's a conversation with people from distilleries and distillery adjacent that gets into deep and sometimes off the rails and back again discussions with their interviews. New episodes arrive at the end of the work week. And if that one is not nerdy enough, please check out One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute, which is a show where Alan Bishop answers any questions about distilling and then often puts them to the test. It could be individual grains, entire mash bills, equipment, or methodology. New episodes are random, so subscribe. Then there is the Bourbon Turntable, where they mix the love of music with the love of whiskey. They have conversations, with musicians, writers, distillery folks, and common folks about music and whiskey. It releases every Wednesday on all your platforms, including YouTube. And then there is If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything, which is a show about spirits and paranormal among us, as well as the unexplained and the spiritual. Subscribe on Spotify to get all the seasons. And last but certainly not least, we have David Levine with the Whiskey in My Ring podcast. David does really good interviews. He does good award shows. He does good tasting notes. What he does not do good is fantasy football. He sucks at it. But please check out David and the Whiskey Ring podcast.
I was doing okay, and then I crippled my chance to the championships this past weekend. Or Daniel Jones crippled them. That didn't help.
That's what happened to me last year. Oh, well.
I'll be honest. I didn't think I was.
I've done all I can do.
I didn't think I was beating your son anyways from the way his point totals were looking compared to mine. But
yeah, he's been racking up a lot of points.
I got kicked in the ribs pretty good. It was a little embarrassing.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah, so I'm just preparing for maybe a third place. So that's all right, though. So like we were saying, tonight we are going to discuss just a couple little Christmas cocktails. I dig that one, Mike. Did you use AI to make this?
I actually did.
They did a good job on that one. It's better than
some
other
of them.
things.
Yeah, sometimes they're not bad. It depends on where you go. And, in the past, some of the ones I put up on there on purpose, well, not on purpose, they looked bad because AI sucks. And
they were funny.
But this one, it was pretty easy to say. I want three Christmas elves making cocktails in the style of Rankin and Bass. And so
Nice.
that's what it came up with. Yeah.
It's short. It worked on that one. All right. Well, Morgan had a cocktail, even though she's not with us. I was gonna go.
Well,
but-
she's with us. She's just.
Well, she is with us. She's in the chat right now, but she's not on screen with us. Is what I meant. Do you want? Should we start with hers?
Of course.
Of course. All right. It is a gingerbread old fashioned. I was gonna say that got a couple steps. Nothing too crazy. Mainly because one of the steps is making a simple syrup. So I was gonna say, leave this up.
Don't buy simple syrup.
Oh God, no! Especially with like as minimal as what you put into this to what you get out of it is well worth doing it at home. I mean, really, you can do. You're at the point where you can big batch something like this easily. So
yeah,
definitely do something like that. I was gonna say, but then this kind of goes over how to make a simple syrup. For those of you who have not done it, goes over that. I'm not going to break that down. We've done that 4 or 5 times. It's really just putting it in a pan and boiling it. It's not anything exciting, which is good because it's.
And if you're not a cocktail person, if you're not a big cocktail maker, but you're, make simple syrup and then make some offshoots. Make a star anise, make a honey, make other flavors, and do a basil simple syrup. Do other oddball ones like that because you're really not talking about much.
Well, and you could also be using them in other ways too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like these flavored simple syrups, you could be putting on fruit or bread or some other simple way to use it, but it actually, kicks things up a notch in a way most people don't expect it to. So please do. Let's go here. But to make their gingerbread old fashioned, they 2 ounces of bourbon, 1/4 ounce of gingerbread simple syrup that we just made it in the past one, 3 dashes of orange bitters, which does make a difference. And I like that they're using orange in this with the gingerbread and stuff going on there. An orange twist for garnish. I would say optional. Put that in there. Cinnamon stick for optional too, but no way that makes it look way better like the original picture. I was going to say. And I might do a double. Just looking at that glass, that person looks like they were a little stingy. You
might as well make a bunch.
I was going to say make a bunch of it. Once again, I was going to say goes over how to make an old fashioned. We've had shows on old fashions. I feel pretty safe with everyone out there knowing how to go about an old fashioned. But if not, we'll leave this up here. You can kind of see if this one has that. And also, if you're looking to try hers, I had done something here. Let's see if I did it right. It is right here. Is the actual recipe for it. So I was going to say, actually gives you a couple different variants and ways to adjust it on the website, which is good. Oops, hold on a minute. It's not. I got a hot hand. Sorry about that. Just trying to get this off. There we go. But I was going to say much clearer when people usually say like a gingerbread old fashioned. Sometimes you get the idea of it almost looking cloudy or darker, or I don't know, like it has not good simple syrup or some other type of syrup added to it. I was going to say, but the way that looked, it looked like a very clean cocktail, to be honest. When you're looking at it. So I did not have that one, but I think that's a neat little simple variant. If I owned a bar or something, that would definitely be on the holiday list of things to slide in there to try for this the winter season. Let me get this there. Sorry, too many clicks. And I don't know, Mike, do you want to go? Otherwise, I'll go through the one I had.
Go right on ahead.
Okay, so I can do that as well. The next one I had, I got to try this weekend. A little variant on a drink the dude would do. It's a Christmas White Russian.
All right.
And I like this just because sometimes hot chocolate, even though you're gonna read what's in here. Ooh, it turned out not the way I wanted to. Yay, internet. Um, well, I will repost this, and I do have a link for this as well too. Uh, pretty close to it. What you were typically doing, I was gonna say a little bit of variant to it, but then you do add. My apologies, everybody. That was not the way I wanted to do it. Had that come out. It looked better on the computer, so my apologies about that. Um, just going over how to add everything together. You want to shake it vigorously. Add ice in the half and half or heavy cream, however you want to do it with that. Make sure you shake it twice was the big thing in that one. Always strain into a glass is one of these. On this one, what they wanted you to do was have a little extra heavy cream and kind of make a top layer on top of the drink itself. As you can see here in the drink, it's got like a little bit on top. I was going to say, obviously, put a little bit of whipped cream on top as well, but just it adds a nice little layering to things. I was going to say, and a little bit of peppermint to it was neat. Simple, but a neat little bump on a classic thing that I really like. Easier to drink for me than some of the other holiday drinks.
Yeah.
Eggnog's a little thick for me, to be honest. Tom and Jerry's, I don't know. The maltiness is a bit much at some points, depending upon where you get that from. So I was going to say some of the classics that I'm not as a big a fan to, and just a classic hot chocolates, a lot of times just, a hit of peppermint or something like that in it, but it's not anything exciting, where this kind of fell down a nice alleyway. I was going to say you add a little extra, chocolate to it and some other thing and stuff to it. It was a good bump. I liked it, and it was one that I could easily have all the time when I was drinking. You could have 3 or 4. Where I was saying, like those other drinks, I'm like, ugh, you slow down. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't know if it's doing anything for me, but I'm right in between. I don't know. It doesn't hit the fun register for me. I don't know. I just eggnog and a couple other things sometimes are not the textural issues. Sometimes I have issues with, and a lot of times eggnog is not made well. If you have had it made well, it makes a significant difference with it. But yeah, a lot of times it's not made very well. I just get iffy. Hot chocolate with rumplements is delicious. Yeah, well, and that's a standard one as well too. Minty. There's a little more black licorice than I think I could do with that one. But no, that's anytime you get a little bit of a White Russian variant, I thought it was fun. So my apologies on that. I really thought that was going to go up better than what that was. So,
it was just ground ginger. I was going to say was the thing that was surprising for me than a standard, White Russian. That's not something you'd have. It's not something I thought would, I was a little worried it'd be a little weird, and it didn't. It freshened it up just enough. Now you may want to play with that a bit. To be honest, if you were doing it yourself, I can see some people are ginger sensitive. So, that wasn't a lot, but I don't, no one wants to run to the bathroom. I had, there was I think there was a sushi incident or a sashimi incident where, I don't know, I made it home very quickly one day because I believe that there was too much ginger involved that day. And that's, so, but no, Simple, liked it. The whipped cream, a little bit of peppermint to it, the ginger in it, brighten it up, kind of drizzle some chocolate syrup around the bottom, or caramel would be the other way. I could easily see someone going with this, just a little bit of that to flare it up, but add some flavor. Even if you want to mix it up, it kind of puts in there. But simple, easy variant off of what you're doing, and something that if other people come over and see you making it, you don't always have to be the one making the drink. That's why usually on bigger holidays, batch cocktails are kind of nice because you're preset and ready to go and you're not locked behind the bar. This is something, if someone watches you do it, they should be able to make it themselves, and you can go on about your business for the party you're at. So just thought in that aspect, that's all. But I like that one. So what did you come up with, Mike?
I got a couple on my list, and one of them, I'll say one of the standards, which is actually what I'm having now, is a hot toddy.
Yes.
Which is also a year-round delight, and it cures what ails you. Grandma prescribed them whenever somebody was sick, even to the young ones, but it was of course diluted down quite a bit. But it was definitely better than cough syrup, and and very tasty. And I've done the variants of a hot toddy too, where added cinnamon stick, melt a little butter on top, of course, adding honey and things like that.
Butter.
Yeah, the butter actually is pretty good. But speaking of, because you had mentioned that in your list, it was actually one of them in my list, which I'm going to put the link to right there. The official Kahlua Peppermint White Russian.
Oh, I doubt it falls right along the similar lines. Yes.
So this was it. It's very, very tasty, as you can imagine, and sometimes the dude needs to warm up a little bit when he's having a Caucasian. But these are the parts here. The link is in the chat, and then obviously, we're not talking crazy instructions here for making this, but it's pretty darn good. And also have done it with some really, really nice peppermint chocolate.
I was going to say there's some bump ups you can do from the list. Nope. Change.
Yeah, you could zhuzh it up, as they say. But no, very, very, very tasty, and also fun to play with.
Can you put that back up again?
Yeah.
The other part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just looking at that and thought of like a Grand Marnier in there. Not necessarily minty, but like instead of the mint.
I mean, you could.
I don't know. Sorry.
I mean, that's part of the fun, is experimentation.
Yeah.
Then you got to have the right one.
Could have a Kahlua bar.
This is true.
Christmas.
Another one I had, which actually I don't have the recipe on there, but it's very simple, is actually a Godfather, which is amaretto and scotch and some orange. But I've also had a variant of that with a high proof, high rye bourbon, and just that and a amaretto. And it's just very nice. It's very soothing, especially the amaretto. You get one that's one that I've picked up, King and Galena. That's real almond and vanilla forward. And it doesn't take much to thicken that cocktail up. I've thought about carefully warming a whiskey and then putting the amaretto in it.
Mm-hmm.
I say carefully warming because obviously you don't want to cook out the fun, but I do want to try that and see what that does, or even maybe, I suppose. Well, I see Dave's on there. Dave, Dave probably knows the answer. Is I wonder if you couldn't just warm up your cup, your coffee mug, and put everything into the warm mug, and then just let it sit for a little bit, see what it does. Because then that wouldn't be the same as cooking it to warm that up. So something to experiment with. But yes, I've done the variant more than once with a high proof, high rye bourbon, because you want to get that to punch through there. And it's quite tasty. But Yeah, the other one. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Dave. Boil water in the mug first. See, that's why he's here.
It'd be like steeping it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mug warmers are a thing too. I mean, I'm
really.
Yeah. That's okay.
Sorry, I didn't know.
I mean, I hey, warm it, just the warming the whole thing up. I was thinking of ways to do it. Obviously, you don't put an empty cup in the microwave, but yeah. I mean, you could
people
do it.
Have ideas, man.
Once. You could do it once. One of the other ones I had, and I was trying to find this mix that we used to get, and it was once a year in the fall. The wife would go to this it wasn't a holiday mart, but it's a holiday mart, and everyone would go and pick stuff up. But every year she made a point to get this stuff. It was a hot buttered rum batter that was basically a paste.
Mm-hmm.
It was a paste, and it was delicious. And I could not tell you the name of that stuff because then she'd gone once or twice, and then it wasn't there, and then she couldn't go to it anymore, and then we just kind of lost track of it. But I've looked up other ones for the hot buttered rum batter, only because it was easy, a little too easy, but really nice. You're like, I want one of these, and I want one right now. And it wasn't that much effort. But the actual hot buttered rum, to make one on your own, is actually it's not a huge deal. And there's 5,000 recipes for doing a hot buttered rum. But
yes,
I do really desperately want to try to find this one again. If I saw the package, as long as they didn't update it too much, I might recognize it. But I'm also afraid of finding it, because then I know I'm just going to buy a bunch of it.
That's true. Oh, they're mentioning glog. That's interesting. I like that because of the.
Okay.
I know there's raisins. I can't remember his dates, or I think it's figs that they add, one or the other. I'm afraid it's not there on that one, but I like that that's added in there, and that flavor profile that brings to it. That's cool.
Huh.
That's fun.
Very cool. Yeah. So I mean, those are my staples, other than just having a cocktail.
Well, on the hot chocolate side of things, if I was doing that now, I might try it with a dark rum. Would be where I might be trying, or even, and it sounds weird, maybe like a mezcal, where it sounds crazy, but that little kind of creamy texture next with a little bit of smokiness to it. I'm probably going to try that at some point now.
I mean, I would think chemically, because again, I haven't tried to heat up a lot of cocktails. Once again, well, Emily knows everything, but Dave would probably know the answer to this. Is if you were to take something like a hot chocolate and then add a chocolate liqueur to it, would there be a chemical shock to it by adding that chocolate? I mean, obviously you wouldn't put cold in there, but if that would do anything like break up the oils and fats too quick because of the heat from the hot chocolate.
Well, that's just research we're going to have to do.
I mean, someone's got to do it.
It is.
This is just off the cuff thing here. As we started talking about warming things, in my mind, I'm thinking of a warm old fashioned.
Well, when you were talking about the hot buttered rum paste, it sounds crazy, but I know someone that used to do that in like a hot cider. They would put like a dollop of that in, and go with that. And that I thought was kind of nuts at first, but that turns out pretty cool of a flavor combination.
We did do that for a while, doing the hot apple cider, and also doing the small pat of butter on the top of it and letting it melt off before having it. Not a lot. I mean, just enough to put a little bit of an oil slick on the top, but it was very tasty as well. It's been a while since we've done that. I stick with this thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the hot toddy. And my grandma's recipe, it's nuts and bolts. It's the best one. It's hot water, whiskey, and sugar, and that's it. And you adjust all three to your taste. And when you're a little kid, you get a lot of hot water and a lot of the sugar, and just a tad of the whiskey. And you change your ratios, and then you play around with it, because what I have found is I like a rye in a hot toddy. I like or a high rye bourbon, And then I also will do on honor of my dad, I'll do Old Crow.
I can see the rye or the high rye bourbon with usually the spices that you'll get out of that. I was going to say playing into that would be
not the minty dilly rye.
No, but I
those
mean,
don't work.
I wasn't going for the mint part. I just meant like the other parts, like the spice part of rye, nutmeg, some other things.
You want
like
to
that.
come through. You want flavors to come through.
Yeah, I was going to say that you'd be hitting more of. I wouldn't want to try to do the minty side of things. That'd be weird.
Well, I mean, because some of them are it's just a hint, but some of them they just don't. Especially when you dilute it down, it just accentuates that, and which is fine. I'll drink all kinds of whiskey, but for something like that and a hot toddy, it's just like just not the.
No,
it's not what you want. You want some nuts and bolts. Yeah, I
think. Yeah, so I was gonna say a couple. It was like they give me ideas to think about for the little. I don't call it a Christmas party, but it's like the Christmas Eve. We get done at like noon, and it's really more just bring in snacks and whatever,
Yeah,
kind of a party platter tray of things across a countertop, and maybe a few drinks. So. The hot chocolate, I made a bunch of it last year. Not this stuff, a different one, but this is, I like this much easier. I was going to say, it's, I don't know. I was a big fan. I can say that's why I'm not drinking tonight. I had a few of them on Saturday. So
just a few.
Just a couple.
It
was enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, it's a party, right?
Yeah, well, I don't have drinks too much. I mean, tasting and sipping on stuff is different than having a couple of drinks and relaxing with it. So yeah. Oh, that's something there as far as a lot of other cocktails, coffee, espresso drinks, where I was going to say you can play with that and kind of lean into the Christmas flavors or whipped cream or something on top with some peppermints around the outside, similarly to what I was doing. And we would kind of lean into that a bit. But
yeah,
I'll be honest. I don't have too many other cocktails. I don't really.
There's a couple that I'm going to try.
Okay.
That I'll mention that, and it's when I was this was, I was getting ready I had a holiday party Saturday, and I was going to make something to take to it, and I was thinking about doing a couple things, and so one of them was a cranberry peppermint spritz. And I was thinking, okay, holidays, cranberry, peppermint, and it's 1 part peppermint liqueur, 1 part limoncello, 1 part cranberry juice, and 4 parts of club soda, and then you garnish it with a mini candy cane. You just put everything in a highball glass. Pretty simple, easy. Yeah, so I mean, easy. It's something you can make a lot of, and then just
the limoncello part I liked in there. I wasn't expecting it, and I like that.
Yeah.
Just saying, I think that would add some nice flavor to it.
Yeah, and I think it'd be refreshing. Then another one that I had seen that I was contemplating making. I ended up making a totally different cocktail, but I'll tell you what that one is in a minute. But it was a holiday margarita that had 2 parts of Blanco tequila, 1 part of orange liqueur, and 4 parts of cranberry juice, and a little squeeze of lime. And you put everything in a shaker with ice, shake it up, strain it out, pour it in, drink it. It'd be pretty tasty. So
it is.
Yeah. I ended up making use of some whiskey that I needed to get rid of, basically. And it was a high proof bourbon that had that was finished in a coconut heavy rum barrel. Whoa. And so it had that very tropical coconut flavor to the bourbon itself. So I mixed a little bit of that and a little bit of some amaretto, and then some apple smoked corn whiskey that I had.
Oh, you son of a bitch. That's what I wasn't expecting. That part.
And it just had that, and that the coconut took a back seat, but it had all of the bourbon was a high rye, you could tell it was a high rye, and that came through on there. And so you had these spices and everything, and then you had it just because of the amaretto was just very thick and clingy, and it was very nice in the glass. It disappeared quite well, but that was another one. It's like it would kind of be good, it'd be good to do something more with that. I was thinking if I had more of the apple and cinnamon that would come through on there, I think it could have played okay. Also, could have ruined it too. So,
well, the corn whiskey that's. I was gonna say I'm like you could go with a brandy, but I'm like that's much more typically. I don't say syrupy, but more sugary than the bourbon you were using. So, I don't know. That's yeah, definitely playable. Some of the the spritzer you mentioned, that a few of those ones, I saw different kind of plays on them. Cranberry, I'm good with for a drink or two. I'm not really about a drink. I'm not a big cranberry fan. Not that I'm like against cranberries, but if I'm doing a berry, it's probably strawberry, raspberry, blueberry, huckleberry, most of the other berries.
Cranberries are good for you.
No, I don't. And in juice, when you mix it with other juice, it's much better. But just it by itself, I don't know. I don't know. I always, in my brain, I will get cranberry and crabapple confused sometimes. And it shouldn't happen, but it does. I know where cranberries come from in the bogs and everything, but size-wise, when I see them, I'm like, oh, crabapple. Fucking trash. Sorry, we had a crabapple.
They're not for eating. They're for making stuff with.
Yeah, or just throwing. Sorry. That happened
too.
a lot. When I was a kid, like, oh, guess what happens? These are just projectiles.
Yeah, the best apples are not for eating.
That's true. So, I don't really have any other ones, which is okay by me. We can let people go a little bit early this evening.
Oh yeah, and I said keep it simple.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything crazy. Just a small little plays on something you like is probably the best way to go about it, and the best way other people will enjoy it too. Because I like going left field and going try this crazy thing, which I did at Thanksgiving, and it was a bit much, but it was a fun try. How about that? You gotta try them. But I was gonna say afterwards, I was like, yeah, I shouldn't have shot for the moon. I should have just stayed in my lane. So, well, like I was saying, I want to thank everybody for stopping in this evening. I'll post with a couple links to the recipes we had here for the ones we had. But like Mike said, just keep it simple. Don't go too crazy.
There's no reason to stress yourself or anybody else out there in the holidays. Yeah. It is not worth it.
Most people be happier you didn't stress them out.
And it's not worth it cutting loose and drinking too much during the holidays either. Not worth it.
Well, you'd have to have off for a couple of weeks, to be able to recover for a couple of days.
Even still, just be responsible. Yeah, mistakes happen. People do things that they don't mean to do, and so be responsible. Be responsible. Be respectful. Yeah.
Don't do anything with other people's inflatables.
Yeah, make a batch of cocktails when you take them to someone's house. Leave them in some sort of receptacle that you can just walk away from and say, you know what? If there's any left, they're all yours.
That is nice. I like that.
Leave a house gift. I do want to do one toast out if we can, and I'm getting really, really tired of this in my personal life because there's been way too much of it in the last couple months. But my buddy Mike, his dad passed away this morning, and Frank had 5 kids, numerous grandkids. He was a Nebraska fan to a fault. But one of my his son's one of my best friends and raised a hell of a kid. So to Frank,
cheers. Yeah, you're right. Too much of that stuff happening. So let's ride it out through the rest of the holidays. All right, everybody, keep it together.
Yeah.
All right. Until next week, remember, it's not the size of the den that matters, but it's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.